Hi, my name is Vanessa Leck. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in the state of North Carolina. I'm also a military veteran, as you can see my little label I put down there. And today I'm going to talk about the very important topic of licensing compacts, specifically as they pertain to the mental health care industry and really kind of the historical context of social work compacts to some extent. Now, I've always, to be completely frank with you, been really jealous of the nursing industry's licensing compact, which they've had for as long as I can remember. I think the nursing industry's always really had it together when it comes to their licensing compacts and the interstate ability to utilize the license. Some people have actually compared it to like a driver's license. So I think it's long overdue that licensees have access to these compacts, all different types of licensees that need them, specifically mental health care industry, all different kinds of licenses. I know that there's like a psych compact. I forget, it's like an acronym that they have, but I see it quite a lot with a lot of, I believe it's psychologists, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I'm not totally up on that, but I see it a lot, it seems like, where they're advertising their services across all the states. So it's just very interesting. There's a lot of legalities to that, which I'm not even going to touch, literally or figuratively speaking. Today, I'm going to talk about specifically two compact maps that have really caught my attention and really kind of touch back upon nursing compact as well, which has been long established. And the two compacts I'm going to touch upon are the LPC Licensed Professional Counselor Compact, and which is fairly new, and the Social Work Compact, which is not yet in existence, but is in the midst of forming across the nation. My background, as you can see, are the two different compact maps. And so that one is the Social Work Compact map in real time. I just took a screenshot of this today, which is March 26, 2024. And then over here on this side is the LPC Licensed Professional Counselor Compact map. As you can tell, they've made much more progress than we have made over here in social work land. That's for sure. We are behind over here on the compact map, and I don't like that compared to the LPC map. So they really seem to have it together. Now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So this is the counseling, the LPC Compact map. And according to the website, because I was reading some of the frequently asked questions just now, they were stating that you have to be a LPC, have a license as a professional counselor in order to qualify to utilize this compact eventually. Now, I say eventually because according to their website that I just looked at today, March 26, 2024, this compact has not yet formed 100%, or maybe it's formed because look how many states they have, but it doesn't appear, according to their website, that they're allowing applications to utilize the compact. So it's like, well, even if it's formed, it's like, okay, well, if you're not able to use it, then like, what good is the compact really? So I'm not a licensed professional counselor. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in North Carolina. So this map specifically really wasn't on my radar at all until the last few weeks, because I've been really thinking a lot about compacts since the social work compact is in progress right now of potentially forming, and legislation is pending across many states. But as you can see, this is the color code. Dark blue is enacted. So these are like the states that have enacted the legislation. And then light blue is legislation's basically filed, pending, hasn't been voted on, is my perception of what that means. And so those are these states I'm kind of clicking on. And then there's no active legislation on gray. And so these are the states where there's no active legislation. So the states with no active legislation of any kind are in the minority, as you can see, for licensed professional counselors. But they've made really great progress, it looks like. And yeah, I'm a little bit jealous of that, let's be honest, about what great progress they're making. So for more about that, you can check in the description of this video and you can see the link to that website. So if you're a licensed professional counselor or you're just curious about this topic, you can delve into it more by browsing the website. Now, the next thing I'm going to share is going to be the Social Work Compact website. this is one I've definitely been keeping my eye on, and it's one where a fellow social worker informed me, hey, check out this website if you want to know more about the status of the compacts. I was just asking, like, is there one? Is there one? And most social work licensees, licensed clinical social workers, I've come to realize, have no idea that there's even a pending social work compact forming right now. They don't even know about it at all. So it's so interesting to me because I'm meeting so many licensees that are like getting licenses, full-fledged licenses in multiple states for one reason or another, yet they don't know about the compact. And certainly it seems like the compact would be the faster, easier way to go if needing to practice in multiple states for whatever the reason. So this is the social work compact map. It is swcompact.org. In the description, you can see the direct link from this video to this map. Very similar code for the color code: dark blue, legislation enacted; light blue, legislation pending; gray, no active legislation. So you can see that right here of which states are which. So the last time I checked, so this is today, I screenshotted this today, and well, this is actually the website, not the screenshot. And it's actually in real time, like March 26, 2024, recording this 1:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is in real time, but the last time I checked it before today, I want to say it was in the last number of weeks, and there were only two states that had passed legislation and enacted it. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, there's like 2 states. This is amazing. This is amazing. I can't believe it. Can't believe we're making progress here. And now we're up to 4 states. So I read on the website, check it out for yourself. The last I read, unless it's changed, is that 7 states were needed in order for a social work compact to form. So now we're 3 states away. Now, the licensed professional counselor people, the website just showed you, they were saying in their FAQ section that they were not yet accepting applications from their licensees for the compact, but they anticipated doing so later in 2024. So I'm kind of curious that once this forms, if it's going to be the same kind of process where the social work compact isn't accepting applications for a delayed period of time after it actually forms or is enacted across all of these different states. I'm not really sure, but my God, if that's the case, considering how far behind this compact is to the LPC Compact, like this is going to take forever, because I think clearly it looks like the track they're on, the trajectory that I've been watching, that this is likely to be enacted. The compact's going to form sometime this year in 2024, in my opinion. Well, if they're waiting in the kind of same trajectory that the LPC seem to be waiting to receive applications, and that means it could be 2025 before they even take an application to be practicing through the compact in these different states. So, I mean, I would hope that's not the case, but what I'm also kind of concerned about are the restrictions on this compact too that are not being discussed. So, for example, I was looking at the nursing website, which has long since had a compact, like is nothing new. They've had a compact for a very, 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 very long time. Don't know how many years, but it's been a long time. And I was watching the educational video they had for some of their nurses, because it looks like they have different compacts for different types of nursing credentials and licensures. I don't know all the nuances about that. But what I do know is that they were saying in the video for nurses that you had to basically be licensed, like you had to be a resident in the state where you had your primary nursing license of the specific type of license they're talking about. Okay, it may vary for other types of nursing licenses. And then you had to like practice through the compact, and it was like a driver's license was compared to. But it sounds like if the person relocated to another state and became a resident of a different state, then they had to get an actual license, full-fledged license in that state, and couldn't just rely upon the compact. So that's like extremely concerning to me in particular, that that's the way this is going to be, because these states have some really absurd rules that don't make sense. A lot of states do. I mean, these boards can just make up pretty much anything is what I've seen. And it's a topic of intense discussion for years now, because it impedes people being able to practice in different states, even if they're moving to that state permanently. And, I'm military affiliated, and due to a military family situation and moving multiple times, I was never able to have my license as a clinical social worker recognized in these different states. Like, they say on the front end, like all these states, like, oh, yeah, you can have your license recognized and you can get a license here to practice. But that's not necessarily true, because when you start looking in the rules, they'll charge thousands of dollars. They'll have these goofy requirements that don't make sense. I ended up just giving up on it and just saying, forget it. Like, it's not even worth the trouble. One state I looked at getting licensed in that I lived in for a couple of years due to the military situation, it would have taken so long and so much money to get the license, possibly, maybe, that by the time they would have approved it, I would have been leaving the state. And then, so this is very common for military spouses in particular. Military spouses now have a federal piece of legislation that is addressed that. I'm assuming that the license they're going to get is going to be a permanent license. Again, I'm assuming I'm not the test case for it, because I'm no longer in a situation where I could use that legislation. The legislation was enacted years after I needed it to be passed. And then I needed that legislation like 10 years ago. So that's the situation. And so, if you're a licensee, which there's many of us out there that are going to relocate for any reason whatsoever to another state, this compact I'm finding highly questionable as to whether or not it will support those licensees, or if the licensees are still stuck in this bear trap, basically, that they can't get out of, where they have to start that licensing process all over again. So, for example, there's one state I'm looking at possibly being licensed in independent of these compacts that I'm talking about. They want proof that I've done the 3,000 hours of clinical supervision for my current license, which, of course, yes, I did. However, it's like, how do you exactly prove that when you've been licensed for several years? Like, you know what I mean? What if your clinical supervisor is no longer with the living, for example? That is the case often, where you have professors and clinical supervisors who are older. And even if you're younger, anything can happen. You know what I mean? Our time is limited on earth. And so what if, they've passed away? How are you supposed to prove that? It's like, of course, boards have paperwork and stuff, but I'm not quite clear on how you're supposed to prove that you've done this requirement especially if you're already in a state that has that requirement on the books and you have that license. So it's like, clearly you fulfilled that requirement. It does not make sense at all to me.